I've been to 11 schools. I think I had a problem with authority. I want to do things my way. A kid who always, messes around. I once accidentally dropped a grenade.
Please meet Lev. He moved to Singapore as a teenager and now he's been here for 12 years.
I've applied for citizenship a few times as well, but got rejected.
His story is amazing. He was born in St. Petersburg, then his family moved to Moscow, from there to Bahrain, a year later to Dubai.
Best years of my life, actually.
Another year passed and they fled Dubai to settle here in Singapore. We had an incredible conversation about his local school experience, professional career in fencing, 2 years in the army, and how he became one of the top talents of the famous Singaporean YouTube channel Wabanana.
I still get recognized as a guy from Wabanana.
Enjoy! Was it hard for you as a teenager to move countries from Russia first to Middle East and then from Middle East to Singapore?
The France part was difficult, especially when it was the 5th or 6th time that I had to move. Yeah. I was so fed up. I've been to 11 schools in my whole life. The first move from St. Petersburg to Moscow was okay. And then from Moscow to Bahrain was a bit difficult because I had friends there for about 4 years in Moscow. And then from Bahrain to Dubai was a little bit difficult, but it was still okay. It was like an American school, so not that I didn't have too many American friends there, but it was fine because we were moving to Dubai, which was a bigger place. But then moving from Dubai here was the most difficult part.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, because it was the best school that I went to in Dubai. It was a British school called Repton, and it's just loads of banter, it's just funny stuff happening all the time, and you're in this rebellious stage. So I was at the age of 14 when we moved, and then I had to say goodbye to everyone and then moved here. I also went to a local school here, so I'm very familiar with the local culture and how they behave and stuff.
What's the biggest difference, international school versus local Singapore school?
Well, here you have to sing the national anthem in the morning, you have to say the pledge, you've got less of freedom to talk during lessons. The classrooms are packed with students. They're 38 students in my class. In international schools, they always tell you to kind of speak up, as well as in Russian schools, actually. You always...
Is it?
Yeah, you always come to the board, right? You have to answer...
Sometimes not voluntarily.
Well, yeah, that's true. No, I mean, in international schools, also not voluntarily. If you need to report, you need to say something about your homework, you still have to do it. But in local schools, I don't think that happened once. Not even once we had presentations or anything like that. So public speaking is not very common. But also the school that I went to was a neighborhood school, so it wasn't the top tier one. I think to go to Anglo-Chinese school or Raffles, it's a bit, they use that kind of British approach. So they tell kids to speak up a bit more, but still not as much. I've spoken to people. The contrast is quite big.
By the way, what was the reason you changed the school from international to local one?
Actually, it was behavior, but yeah.
Good behavior.
My parents were so pleased with my behavior that they were like, why don't you try out a local school? And then I think it was maybe financial problems as well, because, international schools are quite costly. Yeah. And when you've got a kid who always, messes around, the motivation of parents to keep their kids in international schools drops down and they send them to a local school. If you're a parent and you're thinking of sending your international child to a local school, don't do it.
If I were starting my business now, I would definitely do it in Singapore. Why? Robust economy and low tax rates, easy to start run a company, a strategic location in Southeast Asia. But who can help you with all the complicated admin stuff? Introducing the sponsor of this video, Awesome. They are experts in managing your company's compliance and business account, so you don't have to worry about filing company reports or paying taxes on time. Awesome will take care of all your finance and paperwork through the app. They're always on hand to answer your questions and give free financial advice based on your company accounts. Awesome makes it easy to manage your store payments, cash flow, and expenses, all in the same place on their app. Using Awesome saves your business thousands of dollars every year, so you can focus on growing your project, like reaching new customers and building your brand. You'll be guided through setting up your company with your new accountant and secretarial team in just a few easy steps. It's like having a personal business manager at lower cost. Click the link in the description below for free company incorporation and get 8% off your first year of corporate secretary and accounting service. What was your like normal off-school activities when you finish your school? You go do your homework or you play football?
Yeah, in international schools you'd have CCAs. Well, they're the same. In international schools, CCAs is co-curricular activities. There are some in local schools as well. Mine was fencing. I started doing it at the age of 14.
You're supposed to go to Russia for some like championships.
No. I frequently used to go to Russia for competitions, but I wanted to get Singapore citizenship so I could be on the Singapore national team and then represent Singapore, qualify for the Olympics one day. And then that didn't happen. But I won local tournaments in juniors 5 times. Only won it once in seniors. But I was always in like, top 4, top 3. I'm not fenced for the past 2 years though. Then there was COVID, and then now I don't really see a point that much because, in order to be good, you need to train at least twice a day. You go there with a massive bag. Well, you can leave your bag there, but still, you go there for an hour, you train for 2 hours, then you go to like work or school, whatever you have, and then after school you go for trainings as well. It's just very time consuming, and when you can't go for big competitions, what's the point?
You went to NS, a national service, so you went to army after school. Can you say a couple words about like how to be in Singapore national service?
It was very fun. It was a very good bonding experience, but that bonding experience only comes in like a year time. So in the beginning it was quite tough. I felt like an outsider. I think I had a problem with authority at that point in time.
Okay.
And I wasn't used to the army regime as much. Although I did fencing for a while, so it would require a lot of discipline as well. But like just that kind of I was being told what to do all the time. I was being punished for nothing. Stupid things happen in all armies all the time. Like us just carrying field packs, taking them off for 5 hours straight. It's just like so pointless, man. But then after that, once I found, so you're given a profession, an occupation, right, during army. And then I was sent into a different company. And there things went fine. I made like some good friends. I was hanging out with them just the other day. That's probably the time when I made my most like Singaporean friends would be in NS. Yeah, not in school though.
Do you think it's like Singaporean army is more tough than, I don't know, American army or Israel army?
We had a mission with, the British, the Australian and the Malaysians ones. We were going like hand in hand with those guys because they don't know how to, they're not adapt to the tropical climate. Yeah. So it takes some time for you to kind of get used to it, I mean, when you're carrying 30 kgs of weight and then you've got, you're dressed completely in army gear and your face is covered in camo and then it's plus 30 outside, it's a bit difficult to move around, yeah.
Can you recall any like funny story from your army time?
I had so many, man. I once like accidentally dropped a grenade. So I was running with like my rifle, right, and then we were being issued grenades, right, and then I put my grenade here, and then it's like my turn. So it was a trial throw, right. It was my turn to throw it. Then I run out, right. Then I'm like running, and I forgot to clip the LBV vest, the grenade pouch. So as I reach my sergeant, my grenade just kind of flies out like that, boom, and rolls on the floor. Slow mo. And my sergeant was looking at it slow-mo, and then he just dropped down, rolled on the floor, and then he's like, oh, pick it up. And I was like, okay, fine. I picked it up, and I just like, what do you say? Safety pin pull, safety pin twist, safety pin pull, safety pin out, and you throw it. And then I went back, and then everyone, right, there's like 200 people, they're all just standing like that. And then the commanders are walking around, and they're like, oi, you, Amo, come here. You know what would have happened if the grenade exploded? I was like, I would have died. He's like, you're goddamn right, you would have died. And then he just walked off. Just like, I got an extra after that. Extra is like, you have to do guard duty.
Guys, if you want more content like this, more stories about life in Singapore as a foreigner, also life in Southeast Asia, like comparison of different countries here in this region, and you want to support this channel, please do the small thing. Just subscribe to this channel and press the like button. It would help us a lot. Thank you very much.
We're right now in Lasalle College of the Arts. Here's where all the weirdos are of Singapore. So,
like you studied here for 3 years.
I studied here for 3 years. Over there is the performing arts section, and then over here is the design section. So I was in the performing arts. I was in audio production. Yeah. You should go through here.
Was it fun to be here for 3 years?
It was. It wasn't what I expected, to be honest. I was expecting the vibe to be a bit more international. It was good background in terms of arts, but I think I chose the wrong course, so it wasn't that fun for me. So I just kind of stuck through it. I was always more friends with like people from the musical theater side, and not so much from people from my own course. But nevertheless, what I've learned here has taught me later on. It helped me with the background in my career now. In terms of editing is much easier. I know a lot of things about sound. I know how to make it better. I know specific tools that can do it. But it's just not really my area of interest. I chose it because I was interested in music. Played like guitar, piano, sing as well. A little bit.
He's good actually. I saw it on Instagram.
But if by chance you're here alone.
That's why I went into audio production. But it was, I think, the reason for going into it was more of the fact that I wanted to escape the local school.
After having like few jobs, like NS, school NS, few jobs, and then you ended up in production team or creative team of one of the biggest Singapore YouTube channels, Wabanana.
Yeah.
And you were a scriptwriter and actor as well.
I'm a contract killer.
How was it?
It was all right. They definitely gave me a lot to, I learned a lot. First of all, you'd be in this kind of structure where you'd need to create constantly, right? So it's not only when you're inspired, then you go and create, because previously it was like that. In NS, I started making funny videos during NS because it was like a way to escape.
Ah, already that time. Okay.
Yeah.
Where you uploaded to?
Just Instagram, I made pranks.
It's quite tricky to do pranks in Singapore.
It is. So, but it was good in terms of the fact it eases you up in public, so you become a bit more confident on stage. But obviously, you need to be kind of, don't cross the line. But I think my pranks were harmless, to be honest. They weren't like I wasn't going around and pouring water on people or like painting them, splashing paint and all that. It was like minor disturbance.
So, did you feel that was like a great, collaborative environments and creative environments when you were in Wabanana?
It was good. It's just that I'm a bit more individualistic, I think. So I want to do things my way because it's a teenagers channel, right? So certain jokes won't fly. Like you can't swear, you can't do this thing. Although I don't think I've had that much censorship during my time there.
There was a lot of jokes about sex, for example.
You can kind of hint it, but don't do it openly. I didn't leave because I didn't like the company or anything. I was going to go to New York and then I had to stay here for a bit longer. But Wabanana's given me a great base to work with. I'm good at editing now. I know how to make jokes, structure of a joke, where the prestige of a joke. Have you seen the movie, The Prestige? Similar with a joke. So you need to build, and then you guide the audience towards one way, and then you release it the other way. Yeah, so Wabanana was good, but also because we live in the world of TikTok, fast-paced content. YouTube is dying for fast-paced content. People just don't watch short videos as much, I think, in YouTube, do they? With Wabanana, for example, it used to get millions of views per episode about 4 to 5 years ago. Maybe 6 years ago. And then as we reached 2019, COVID happened, so we just blame COVID for everything. But the views started to go down, and I think it's not because the content kind of changed drastically, because it was still Singapore-related stuff. The writers' team is still the same, more or less. It's because people want short, fast-paced stuff. If you got a joke, do it fast on TikTok. Problem is, TikTok doesn't pay money directly, right? And YouTube does.
What do you think about media scene in Singapore? What's the most popular platform?
TikTok, I think it is, yeah. You're more likely to be recognized via TikTok than via another platform, I think. I don't want to brag, but I still get recognized as a guy from Wabanana sometimes, occasionally, not that often, but more often these days from TikTok. Anyway, where were we?
Oh, you were talking about Paris.
Yes, Paris. It's a great place, but since I got my mention in Italy, I don't really care about Paris now.
How many followers you have?
On TikTok, only 25,000, so it's not like I'm a massive TikTok celebrity.
For Singapore, it's already
it's
okay. It's good number already.
It's okay. I mean, it's present, but there's always room to grow. It's hard to grow in Singapore if you don't make Singapore-related content, unfortunately, or fortunately, depends on what you're into. Sometimes my videos are I have a feeling they would do better for international audience, global audience. When I'm forced to always make Singapore-related stuff, it becomes a bit dry and boring. But some videos that work for a global audience work in Singapore as well. In Singapore, the culture is Asian, right? So it's collectivist. So if it's my tai chi is like my problem, right? It'll be your problem as well. In Russia, when your grandparents, some grandparents, not everyone's, but they try to micromanage everything. I think that culture is kind of going away now, but it used to exist in my parents' time. So in Singapore, it still exists until this day, where everyone has to be part of like one problem. Whereas in international system, people are more individualistic, right? So they take care of their own problems, and other people don't stick their nose into other people's problems as much as they do in Singapore. And also the second part is, I think the rules, you know, the laws of Singapore, they play a role in that as well. Here, if you do something wrong, you know you're gonna get punished, so people are less likely to try something, to be a bit more courageous in certain things, because they've always been controlled since they were young.
I think that actually the reputation of Singapore is much worse in terms of the rules and like the laws. I think it's much worse than in reality.
I think so too.
Singapore has this reputation like you've been punished for everything. But it's actually not true.
The young generation are actually quite outgoing, like to try and avoid this rule, that rule, because the school system teaches you to follow the rules. The majority of the people that live here, they are very obedient. Even like crossing the street, like jaywalking, see a red light, no cars, 3 a.m. in the morning. If it's a Singaporean guy, he's just gonna stand there and he's not gonna walk until it's a green light.
Honestly, I think there is a lot of like jaywalking in Singapore.
Really? You saw it? In my part of town, I don't see anyone do it. Like everyone is like, I mean, I also don't jaywalk. I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Give him a passport.
Yeah, but this kind of things happen. Like there's a few times.
For sure, yeah.
I'll tell you a story. Okay, like this morning, this thing happened to me. Although I was in the wrong, probably. But I've got 2 little dogs, right? And then we're in the elevator. We're going to the elevator, and then this like uncle comes into the elevator with me. I didn't leash the dogs. I'm sorry I didn't leash the dogs. They're super split, tiny like this. I was gonna leash them as I was in the elevator. I was late for work. And then the uncle, he's like, oh no. Like he was just so scared. Like, and it's a Chihuahua, man. And he just rushed out of the elevator. This kind of things, they happen like all the time.
Maybe he was beaten by the dog when he was 4.
By a little Chihuahua, yeah.
By little Chihuahua, yeah. Best thing you love about Singapore and something you hate about Singapore?
I like how clean it is. Just the general things like clean, safe, fast transport. Everything is made for comfort in Singapore. It's super nice. Although there's been some difficulties with taxis lately, but other than that, I think it's perfect. If you want to get somewhere, you're there in like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
there's
so easy. Traffic
is monitored. The laws here in terms of regulations are pretty good. Something I don't like about Singapore is I love it. No.